Welcome to Money Making Conversation. I'm your host, Rashawn McDonald. Each Money Making Conversation talk show is about entrepreneurship and entertainment. I provide the consumer and business owner access to celebrities, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and industry decision makers. I recognize that we all have different definitions of success. For some, it's a sizable paycheck. For others, it's living a purposeful life or enjoying close personal relationships or expressing their creativity. It's about you. That's what this show is all about. Mine is helping people wake up and inspiring them to succeed by accomplishing their business goals and living their very best lives or their passions. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I want you to understand that you need to stop tripping, stop stopping yourself, stop holding up that stop sign, start looking in the mirror, pull down those shades that are blocking your opportunities. That's what Money Making Conversations is all about. The Money Making Conversation interviews provide relatable information to the listener about career and financial planning, entrepreneurship, motivation, leadership, overcoming the odds, and how to live a balanced life. My guest, he's in studio, which is exciting because this young man has been part of my life for about 12 years. Mm-hmm. My next guest developed his marketing passion at the Coca-Cola Company, Procter Gamble, several stints at NASA. He earned a BA in physics from Morehouse College, HBCU.
Yes, sir.
A BS and MS in electrical engineering from Georgia Tech, and an MBA from Harvard Business School in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Now he is the Chief Marketing Officer of the most widely distributed CBD cream in the market, Myaderm CBD Cream. Please welcome to Money Making Conversation, Tory Durden.
Thank you for having me,
Need
sir.
a handshake, my man.
Always. It's so good to see you, man.
I appreciate it. A little boy from South Georgia, huh?
Hey, I grew up in a town of about 8,000 people. Mm-hmm. So I basically have as many people in my hometown that can fit into a basketball game on a Saturday, right? So,
absolutely.
So it's good to see you. I'm so happy for your success.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Well, that's what this show is all about. I always like to ask my guests, what is your passion or your gift?
That's a great question. It's sometimes hard to answer because you hope that you have a lot of gifts. But for me, I love brands. Mm-hmm. I love helping consumers make great choices for products, for things they care about.
Right.
And so the idea of building a brand is super exciting to me.
Right.
And I get excited when I get to talk about it.
And with that brand building, that means an individual or company has to put a trust in you.
Yes.
How does that process start? You know, because you've done a lot of it. Just give a little more background about you.
Yeah, so I grew up in a town called Adel, Georgia. I like to reference that because sometimes people think I'm from Atlanta, and I'm not. Right, it's about 3 hours south of Atlanta, 8,000 people, exit 39 on I-75.
Right.
Right below the gnats and where you get to a lot of mosquitoes. Right.
Right.
Had a great privilege of meeting a gentleman when I was about 15, 16 years old who helped me understand that my identity as a 6'2" black male wasn't defined solely by where I was from.
Right.
So I had the great joy of going to Morehouse College. I love every second of every moment of every time I get to speak about Morehouse. But I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be Dwayne Wayne from a different world.
Right.
And so I went to NASA, learned a lot about science and technology and how we actually apply it. Had the great privilege of working for Coke directly out of college. Went back to graduate school, and then I joined a consulting company called McKinsey & Company. And this was very highbrow, very C-suite level consulting. And they would let me go in and consult with CMOs and CEOs about their big issues, right? And I didn't even know what it meant to be a consultant until I got there. But one of the things I did learn from each of the senior executives was you had to own your brand. You had to own your story.
Absolutely.
At every company I was involved in where we were consulting with them or growing, they were laser focused on what their brand meant to the marketplace, to their employees, and to consumers.
Right.
And so I went back to business school. I like to say I get to straddle both sides of the line.
Why you say that?
Well, because when you go to a highbrow business school like Harvard, when there are literally less than 3,500 African Americans alums on the Harvard Business School network, it's an amazingly small number. It's kind of rarefied air. But I'm a country boy, so I was kind of just happy to be there.
Right.
But then they gave me a chance to be there, and I was like, well, I'm going to try to knock this out the park.
Right.
And I had a great experience, but it was two sides of the coin. It was people who always aspired to be there and really wanted the brand recognition of being a Harvard person, and a person like me who I thought it was the logical next step in my career. So after I went to Morehouse, went to Georgia Tech, and did strategy consulting, going to Harvard was a logical next step. For other people, it was the holy grail.
Right.
And I had to learn how to balance both of those. because Rashawn, the hard part was it became a part of my brand whether or not I knew it or not.
Right.
When I left, people would describe me as that Harvard guy.
Absolutely.
People would describe me as this guy, and I was like, "Whoa, who are you talking about?" I was looking over my shoulder trying to figure out who they were talking about.
It pops on your resume.
Yes.
The word Harvard just pops, and it just because you are as an African American, that's rarefied air right there.
Yeah.
You know, because of the fact that we know that's highbrow education.
Yes, sir.
You know, and also it's almost elite education based on the amount of income that these types of colleges cost, and it almost, you know, it's almost like hallowed ground of education, and you put it on your resume. And then you have Georgia Tech on your resume. Then you have Morehouse. You know, you have.
But I start with Morehouse, though. I try to tell everyone I start.
I'm going down to HBCU with the importance of HBCUs because I've gotten involved with.
Yes,
I graduated from University of Houston, right down the street from Texas Southern, right down the street from Prairie View A&M, and when I look at the value of HBCU schools now are being recognized from being a graduate of HBCU. Why was it significant? You mentioned it earlier.
Yes, sir.
But let's go and detail that journey of HBCU.
Well, it was about acceptance of who I am, what I look like, what I could be. And, you know, I had the privilege of growing up, even though it was a small town, with great role models around me. But when I got to Morehouse, they actually not only told me to be good, but they wanted me to be exceptional. And they pushed me for that. And they encouraged me to do things and try things. They also told me to go to the highest level. Right. Each time. So when I arrived at Harvard Business School, I didn't feel like I didn't belong there. Or when I was in graduate school at Georgia Tech, I didn't feel like I didn't belong there because Morehouse had instilled in me so much empowerment, so much strength, so much sense of self. And it also let me know that I didn't have to be an expert to go down the path of being great. But I had to keep on the path. And that's why I just kept taking logical steps forward, whether it was McKinsey, whether it was Harvard Business School, whether it was Georgia Tech, whether it was Coke. I kept feeling like I had the right to be there. And that's an empowering thing for a young man or a young person. Right. So any person who's ever looking for not just a great education, right, in the academic sense, but a sense of self, right, a sense of empowerment, right, and a sense of fun. So I would tell you this funny story about business school. Like at a certain point, I had to remind the people, we're still in school. Let's have a good time at this, okay? Right. Right. So we were doing great work and we had great careers in front of us, but there was just a socializing aspect that Morehouse and being at HBCU helped me when I was in the frigid cold of Boston and making friends and things like that, and feeling like, hey, let's go to the cocktail party. Right. It was all those things about humanness, right? And I know in your career, you value relationships. Absolutely. I tell people this. You know, the other day I was talking to my roommate from college, my roommate from Morehouse, my freshman year roommate, about his son going to college. Okay, cool. And what I had to do to help his son make the decision to go to Morehouse. Then I talked to my other roommate. I had two roommates. For my freshman year, about his niece coming to school in Atlanta and what I had to do to be of help to her. That was 25, 26 years ago we met. We're still in each other's lives. Right. And that makes a difference. Last point I'll make to this is I go on my new journey about being an entrepreneur. Right. I've had to pull on those relationships. Right. I've had to call on friendships. I've had to call on people I've known. I had, as my dean at Morehouse told me, I had a funny spelling of my name and a unique profile, so I better make sure that the impressions people have of me are solid and real and that I can call on them later on. And I've had to do that as an entrepreneur now. Okay, because spell your name, because when you say your name and when you spell the name is different. It sounds like T-R-Y. Yes, it's pronounced as if it was T-O-R-Y or T-O-R-I, but my name is spelled Torarie. Can I tell you a story about it, though? Yes, sir. Please. Okay, so Durden. Durden. But I have the great privilege of being named by my great-great-grandmother and my great-aunt. Okay. And they were alive to see me walk across the stage. They weren't there at Morehouse when I graduated, but they were home. They saw me the week after I graduated. And that is how they decided to spell my name. And nobody in our family would question them. Nobody asked them, was that correct? All through my life, I said, are you sure it's Tory? They said, that's your name. You better stick to it. And so I've had to carry that with me. But very few people get to say they were named by their great-great-grandmother. There were a lot of extra letters in there, man. There's a lot of extra letters in there. Well, you know, the beauty of our relationship, because we met when I was still managing Steve Harvey. Yes, sir. That's how we met. And
in your journey, and we met at I think we did the CIAA.
Yes.
And you was branding an event
Yes,
there at the live broadcast. It was one of the biggest African American basketball tournaments in the country. That's in Charlotte.
Yeah, just about a week ago, man. People didn't know that a couple of 100,000 people would show up in Charlotte for that tournament, right?
Amazing. It's been going on for years. You know, we talk about March Madness, but it's pretty mad there in Charlotte with the CIAA tournament, and it's really great. Yeah. And so now let's fast forward to you now, and we've been going back and forth, watching you develop this brand, Mya Derm. You know, I met the owner.
Yes, sir.
We met at a restaurant. We sat down, we talked, and just hearing him talk. And what drives you in this relationship? Because I'm seeing the packaging evolve. What's so important about your relationship with this company, besides being the chief marketing officer of Mya Derm? Sure.
So I've been the chief marketing officer of Mya Derm about 6 months.
Yes.
And I took that role.
And you originally was starting out as well.
I was one advisor, consultant, and I had known Eric Smart, the CEO, for about 10 years. Not as long as I've known you, but we didn't work on anything. We just stayed in contact, value relationships, right? I was working a C-suite job at a big company, $2 billion revenue company. I was the SVP. And Eric reached out to me and said, listen, this brand is about to evolve. This space is about to evolve. This industry is about to evolve. And I need people who have real marketing chops to help me figure out what our story is. So that was exciting to me. The second thing was exciting to me is I took the product around the people I knew and trust, and they blew it up.
Right.
They would look at me and like, this doesn't look right. I don't know about this. I'm not messing with this, right?
My wife.
Your wife was one of them. And I appreciated that because it gave me real insights on what problems we had to solve.
Right.
And we had to listen.
But no, you were out there real early.
This is 2 years ago.
Real early.
This is 2 years ago.
And that just show you how fast it's come, because now, you know, people are,
go to the mall.
Right. Yeah. You see the stores. Anthony Durrell was on my show, the boxer, who was in Detroit, talking about opening up a store and things like that. So it's like, even in Houston, there's a store that has opened right next to my cleaners.
Yes.
In Houston.
Yeah, and Rashad, that was one of the challenges that we face. We are a topical cream.
Right.
Okay. You apply if you're in pain or hurting directly. That is different than many of the other CBD brands that are in the marketplace. We also only sell to national retailers. Now, talking about being an entrepreneur and a small business owner, and you're saying you're only going to talk to the big boys, is tough, but it's an intentional decision, okay? Because we wanted to build trust and validity in the marketplace. The third thing is our product does not have any THC. Let me repeat that. It will not get you high, okay?
Which was my wife's fear.
Yes.
That was my wife's fear.
It will not. You can bathe in this. You can drink. You don't drink it. Don't eat it. You can put on 10 gallons of it. It will not fail a drug test. The product will not fail a drug test.
Right.
But that is important because my mom wanted to try the product. Right. My grandmother. You heard me mention my great grandmother.
Absolutely.
She's not alive, but my grandmother wanted to try the product.
Right. Why would they want to try the product? Why?
Well, because they worked hard in their life, and at the end of the day, they have aches and pains.
Right.
Now, my friends who are training for marathons use the product because they want to get back to the gym fast. Some of I met a nice woman who was a video model, and she was in her heels all the time. She wears the product because she wears 5-inch heels and her feet hurt. So she applies the cream directly to her feet. At the end of the day, gives her relief. My mother uses the product when she has
Sam. He leaned forward.
Yeah, she has long days, and she's using her repetitive uses.
So you're starting to capture some potential customers with these statements about healing and all.
Yeah. So the whole premise of this product is fast acting relief. Okay, 2 pumps, put it in your hand, rub it where you need it, applies in seconds, works in minutes, lasts for hours. We want people to feel better.
Oh, you're a CMO for sure. That right there, boy. That wasn't a commercial. Like, we're going to be right back with more Money Making Conversation with my man, Tory Durden. He is the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, Mya Derm. My man, I'm so proud of you, brother. But this is just the start. The journey, 6 months you've been in the gig. Hey, come on. We'll be back with more to talk to him, man. Off air, we're talking, and we're going to talk some more on air. Money Making Conversations. Hi, this is Sean McDonald. You're listening to Money Making Conversation, the show for you, the show about allowing you to hear information that will be helpful in your growth as an individual, if you're working a 40-hour-week job, as a small business owner or an entrepreneur. There is a difference. On the show today is my man, Tory Durden, small town in Georgia, 3-hour drive, 75 South. Went from Morehouse, Georgia Tech, Harvard. along the way, your resume grew academically. You are an expert academically. Then you have to prove yourself in the corporate space.
Yes, sir.
And then you grow out of that. Now you're a leader in one of the fastest growing industry, but you're the industry leader.
Yes, sir.
How did you become an industry leader?
Yeah, that's a great point. And this is a lesson for any entrepreneur, small business owner, right? I hear you say, kind of focus on your gifts. Well, my background was in consumer retail.
Right.
I worked for brands that were sold in big national retailers. So when the CEO of Mya Derm and I connected on this, we made a very intentional choice. We want to be a brand that is chosen by national retailers.
Right.
And what that meant is we didn't want to make health claims. We didn't want to have THC. We wanted very consistent packaging. And we would go with price points that allow people to look like it should be in a grocery store.
Right.
Or in a big store. So last year at this time, Rashawn, we were in 500 retail doors in the country. At the end of last month, we were in 8,600. So we were at 500 retail stores this time last year. Now we're in 8,600.
I'm looking at you on the side of my eye. Like, really?
Yeah, and that was around making some choices to go to large national retailers, making our business scale.
List some of the retailers.
So we're available in many Dick's Sporting Goods.
Was there yesterday?
Golf Galaxy is for the avid golfers in the world. 7-Eleven carries our advanced therapy cream, the one in your hand right now. Love's Travel Stops. If you've never been in a Love's Travel Stop, it's not a truck stop. It's a travel stop. And you can go in there. Rashawn, people are in there for hours. They take showers, they kind of relax, they eat, things like that, right? We're at the medicine shop, and we're at GNC.
Okay.
So we were one of the first brands in GNC, mall-based and many other franchises. There were 3 brands they took in. At the end of the first year, we were 70% of their sales. Now they're adding other brands now because we've proven that the market does have a desire for these types of products. And I'll be honest, to be a national partner, we had to make some choices that weren't really fun.
Right.
And weren't like other people. Like, we don't have our own stores and we don't sell in mall kiosks. We put our packaging, we put our ingredients on the back of our packaging. Right. There's a QR code on our packaging.
My wife gonna love that.
There's a QR code on each of our packages that tell you about our third-party lab testing. We put our address on the back of products. And Rashawn, one of the things we did when we looked at research with other brands, we come out to be between 30 and 50 times more concentrated with our CBD that we put in a product. So people are actually buying a CBD product versus some really expensive Icy Hot.
Yes.
And I don't knock Icy Hot or any brand, but I'm just saying it's just a difference when you're buying a menthol-based product that's going to smell and numb you versus something that's going to help you with relief.
Well, the thing about it is that just watching this journey with you and you're such an authority and you're so confident in your tone because success is you're seeing it happen. We're not there just pitching. You're kind of pitching and hoping.
Yes.
I see a person now who's still hoping, but hoping with confidence and has a track record. Hey, these doors are opening, and guess what? We went from 500 to this. So, because, a year ago we talked on the phone. You said, Rashawn, I'm looking for athletes or former athletes that are high profile. Are you still doing that? Because they can talk about how they can become like a spokesperson or brand ambassador. You still doing that?
Well, I am, but I'm also doing it a little bit differently. And I will give you credit for this. One of those conversations, and if you ever get the chance to have a conversation with Rashawn, just get your mind right and get ready, okay? Because he talked to me about platforms, right? He was like, listen, like some of the athletes individually may have ups and downs, but you want things to have scale, right? So as a national brand, we now get the opportunity to do things like radio.
Yes.
And big platforms where other brands may not because they have THC in it and you wonder if it's available in your state. Our product is available in all 50 U.S. states and in national retailers you know and trust. That makes a difference. The second thing is a little bit of success does breed confidence.
Right.
So I'm looking at programs I'm working to be one of the first partners with a professional sports organization, knock on wood, hopefully, because they have scale. But at the same time, Rashawn, you're exactly right. I am looking for people who want to help me build a brand.
Absolutely.
Those are celebrities. Those are trainers. Those are people who have a clear identification of their brand and their voice, right? Athletes, things of that sort, because they're actually in pain.
Yes.
They're actually in discomfort. They actually have dynamics. I do have to make this point. We make our products to help people, be better.
Right.
Feel better
and
look better. but we also do it for our four-legged friends also.
Ooh, my wife will be happy there, boy.
So
that little dog costing me so much money. Now, what can you do with this? It's a pet cream, PET cream.
Yeah, it's a
CBD.
It's a topical cream. You apply it directly to areas where your four-legged friends are having issues.
Right. Okay, that got that over there. I'm gonna pull that over to the right because I can care less about that dog. I'm gonna just tell you that dog jumps on my lap. I just look at him.
Well, people who care about their health care about their families.
I'm just letting you know about me and this dog. Me and this dog.
Well, my goal is to make life good for you, right? And if you're helping your four-legged friends as well. Okay. But our focus is on relief.
We know what excites me when I hear you talk is that this packaging is outstanding.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, I'm holding this, and it reminds me of 5 Hour Energy.
Yes. Yeah. So
seriously, I expect to go into a Publix or expect to go into a Kroger's, and right there I see this package, and I feel it's supposed to be there.
So Sean, that's an intentional choice as well. Like as a branding person and a marketing person, we said who's done well in the marketplace already.
Yes.
Who can we borrow from?
Yes.
I don't want to say steal, but who can we replicate? I worked at Procter Gamble for a while. The whole idea was, find and replicate. Find something that works and replicate it. Mm-hmm. So we made intentional choices about our packaging to make you feel like it's supposed to be in the store. We've actually made some intentional choices to make sure it fits into your hand.
Right.
So you can carry it and put it in your pocket.
Right.
All of our products have a pump. And so if you twist the top off, it's a pump action. So you can take the top off, take 2 pumps, put it in your hand, rub it on, put the top back on, put it in your pocket, and not be concerned about waste and things falling apart. So it's a lot of those things you said that I did hear you.
Right.
When you told me, like, make a brand that can scale. And those are the elements of the brand that we've tried to implement, very consumer focused, very easy to use,
right?
Very easy to carry, and it looks like it belongs in the store.
This is awesome. The thing I love about it, first we have this says sports cream.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Then you have this. I'm assuming it doesn't say sports, so that's like for
your whole body.
For your whole body.
Yep.
And then you have the little packs. You have the pumps. Okay, so you have all these options.
Yes.
Why?
Well, that's a great point. People have different amounts of money in their pocket.
Right.
But all people want relief. Right? So we're one of the few brands that have made a choice to be available at a packaging option at $4.99 up to our best-selling product, which is $79.99.
Right.
So let me be clear. Our best-selling product is our $79.99 double-strength 2,400 milligram CBD product. But we created these 2-packs and put them together. That's right there. That's available at retail, somewhere between $3.99 and $4.99. You know why? Because a person who is tired at the end of the day needs relief right there. And they may only have a certain amount of money in their pocket. They also may want to try it out. And this goes back to my experience. Like you said, I grew up in a small town in Georgia, right? I'm one of the last people I hope you ever will meet who can say they work at NASA and crop tobacco, right?
Yes,
and when I crop tobacco and pick a little cotton and some watermelons out, that's why today I still don't eat watermelon. My family gets mad at me because I won't eat watermelon because I've been on that sun. Right, but at the end of the day, you're tired, and I only had so much money. You go into the store, and we would buy those little BC powders.
Absolutely.
Or those little Advil 2-packs. So that's why we created 2-pack options, because we know that individuals need relief immediately. They may have a set amount of money, and they want to be able to.
Plus, you can carry this in your bag, your travel bag, and stuff like that. So this is why I love this, because I do that a lot. I travel with my little Dayquil. Gotta have my little Dayquil. Gotta have something for my eyes, for my eyes, droplets and stuff like that. Now I got a 2-pack, put it in there, boom. So because I travel a lot, you know that, and so if my feet are kind of like feeling sore, I'm not talking about damaging sore, but just need.
Been on your feet all day.
Yes.
Yeah, you're walking.
Yes.
I'm not a small person.
Right.
Me in an airplane seat, I don't fit well. right. So I have to kind of bend and contort. So you start feeling pains and
yes.
Take out one of these packs, open it up, put it in your hand, rub it on directly. Keep going.
That's
it. And we made it that simple because many CBD products, there's a stigma associated with CBD.
Absolutely, because weed, it's like a drug. I'm going to be high when I take it. Yeah. These are the things that ran through. These are questions my wife threw at me. And I'm going in there, this is my boy. He got this. I mean, and I can't respond to any of these things, but I can respond when you tell me you're in GNC stores.
Yes, sir.
See, those are important names that you can throw back at them and go, oh, the fact that you have she immediately asked me about the ingredients back then. I couldn't answer that, and the location right here, the address of the company.
Yep.
I couldn't answer that. So you're answering questions to the skeptic.
Yep.
Because of the fact that I'm a Bengay guy. I'm a icy hot guy. I'm a traditional, especially Bengay. You know I'm old school.
Yes, sir.
I'm still buying Bengay. Put a hot towel on it. Be screaming when it get too hot. That's me.
Yep.
And so with your brand, you're telling me you're bringing everybody to the modern age.
Yep.
This is the way to take care of that process. Break tradition. Try something new. We're open. We're letting you know exactly what our brand is. Deal with it. Try it.
All right. So what we found is this.
No, don't have to put no hot towel on it.
So I played college sports, and so pain relief was torture, right? Put your foot in a bucket of ice,
right?
Have this guy rub you down, and so I'm like, man, I felt worse after,
right.
So what we're saying is this is simple application,
right?
But I'll tell you, there's lots of people who struggle with discomfort every day,
right?
If you take a notice of people walking around,
right.
Like they just kind of walk funny.
Yes.
They have limps.
Yes.
They have pain.
Yes.
Now, when I say, are you in pain? Most people say no because they think of a broken bone or something. I'm talking about everyday relief.
Right.
That's what we focus on.
Right.
And it's been great because I've been able to give this product to people who I know are in pain, who I know don't want to have an opioid,
right.
who I know don't want bad reactions. You ever watch one of those TV commercials and medication? We're not a medication, but you hear them talk about all the side effects.
Right.
We wanted something that will allow people to feel comfortable using a product, wouldn't have a stigma.
Right.
Is a great product.
Right.
Like people feel relief. If you take that double stream sport product, take 2 pumps and rub it onto some part of your body that's discomfort, and you feel better in a few minutes.
So tell us again with the stores so we can find your product.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So currently we're available.
And online.
We're available at Myaderm.com. We're relaunching our website to be even more consumer focused and give offers and subscription programs for people who want to save on our Myaderm.com website and social media. We are available in national retailers that people know and trust like GNC. Dick's Sporting Goods has been a great partner for us since Black Friday. We went into Dick's Sporting Goods on Black Friday, this past year. That's a great feat. It's tough. We're at Golf Galaxy, I think 7-Eleven, Love's Travel Stops, Medicine Shop. And we're also expanding. So in the next quarters, you'll start seeing us in, knock on wood, hopefully some national pharmacy chains as well as some national grocery chains.
Yes.
Because we want people to walk into a store and see our product and feel comfortable and safe and buying it at retailers they already were in. Right, and that matters a lot to me.
Well, it does. I want to congratulate you. I know this is just part of the massive opportunity. I'm always recommending people.
Yeah.
I think I got a superstar. I'm gonna recommend you. Yeah. And we're gonna sit down. I'm gonna call you this afternoon because now seeing your packaging, I'm gonna call him this afternoon about this. Because
and Rashawn, I want you to know that the feedback you gave and other people gave did matter.
Yes.
So sometimes when people start brands, they come in with confidence. My stuff is right already.
Right.
I'm already good.
Oh yeah.
Did you like me or not?
Oh yeah.
What I took the stance was it was really good. How we're going to make it better, and by listening to people, we start making the product better. And when you see some of the things we're going to do in Q3 and Q4,
right?
Like I want you and your network to feel comfortable being involved with because it's going to be explosive.
Oh no, this is outstanding. I want to thank you for coming on my show, Money Making Conversation. I'm here with the Chief Marketing Officer of Mya Derm, based in Colorado, my favorite state. CBD.
Thank you, sir.
Topical cream, that therapy cream, advanced therapy, get your life right. The heck with all that other stuff. Icy hot, Bengay. You got some Mya Derm waiting on you now.